Time for London Derby. Hey guys, welcome back to another match preview. Welcome back to my channel. This is Chelsea vs Arsenal. Of course, an absolutely massive game of football that I am so excited about. Before we get into the match preview, I'd just like to remind you guys, if you're not subbed to my channel, please drop a sub if you like this video, if you like my content, and make sure to drop this video a like as well. First off, let's take a look at some of Chelsea's team news that Thomas Tuchel said in his press conference. So first off, Mateo Kovacic is out for about 2 weeks with a ligament injury, so he definitely will not be available. Callum Hudson-Odoi is still training day to day. He hasn't joined training with the team yet, so he's not available either. Thomas Tuchel also mentioned about Jorginho and how he has had a bit of pressure so far this season. He played through injury earlier in the season, and with Italy being knocked out of the World Cup and not able to participate in it, that's really taken a toll on him, and that could contribute to how Georgie has been feeling. So he spoke about that. He also spoke about Trevor Chalobah and why he has been left out of a couple match day squads and how he had a bit of a dip in his performances. It's nothing to worry about. I noticed that dip as well, but Trevor has been training with the team. Thomas Tuchel says he's been training at a very high level and that he will get some minutes probably in the upcoming games. Thomas Tuchel also spoke about Romelu Lukaku and his match fitness, saying that he is not 100% match fit just yet, which is pretty crazy to me, that he looks a bit stiff when he's on the pitch, which I 100% agree with. So while there are a lot of games upcoming, I wouldn't be surprised to see Kai Havertz starting another one given the magnitude of this match. But before we get into my starting 11, let's take a look at the Arsenal news and their side of things. Arsenal have 4 losses in their last 5 Premier League games, with 3 consecutive losses in a row. They currently sit in 6th place in the Premier League. They do have a game in hand over Tottenham in 4th and Man United in 5th. If they win their game in hand, they go equal on points with Spurs, but they are below them on goal difference. So at one point in the season, it felt like this top 4 spot was definitely secure for Arsenal. That's not the case anymore, and they're really going to be looking to try to get something out of this game, not only because it's Chelsea and because no matter their form, they always show up against Chelsea, but because they really need to start fighting for their top 4 spot. They do have a couple of injuries, the biggest being Thomas Partey and Kieran Tierney. Seems that they are out for the season. Lacazette has been out with COVID. It seems that he might be back. Arteta in his press conference said that it's going to be a very close call. And speaking of Lacazette, he made some interesting comments, to say the least, this past week, talking about his Arsenal future and how he hopes to be playing Champions League football and how he wouldn't rule a move away from Arsenal out in the summer. He only has 4 goals for Arsenal in the Premier League so far this season, and I just thought that was really strange timing in a moment when the team are fighting to get a Champions League spot for the first time in years. Arsenal are also struggling to score goals. From their last 73 shots, they only have 2 goals. Now let's take a look at my Chelsea lineup. In goal, I have Edo Mendy, and the back line is interesting. I normally go from right to left, but I'm gonna go from left to right in this one because I think that left-hand side is a little bit easier. I do think that Marcos Alonso starts this match. I would be quite surprised if he doesn't start. I actually think that he's been pretty all right for Chelsea in the past couple of matches and that he's done a job. And we don't really have anybody else who can fill in that spot. He's going to need a rest eventually, but I'll think about that before rest him. Then I'm going to go for Antonio Rudiger. Of course, I think Thiago Silva does play this match after getting rested against Crystal Palace. And then this is where it gets interesting. Who plays right center back and who plays the right wing back? In his press conference, Thomas Tuchel stated that he's been playing Reece James at right center back, not only to deal with pacey left wingers, as I had thought, but also because that position doesn't require as much physicality going forward. It's a lot less strain on Reece as he's coming back from injury because it doesn't require as much bombing forward and backwards. So I think depending on Reece James's fitness and whether Thomas Tuchel thinks that he's ready to play as a wingback or not, or if he doesn't want to risk it, we'll either see Reece at right center back or right wing back. I personally think we're going to see Reece at right center back in this game, which leads me to another very interesting position. Thomas Tuchel mentioned in his press conference that Jorginho, might be struggling a bit mentally. He's had a lot of pressure. It's been a long season. We're getting to the end of the season. It's to be expected. And we noticed that especially in the first half against Crystal Palace. So if Jorginho is fit enough, I think we probably see Jorginho and Kanté in the midfield and Ruben at right wing back. Why? Because Aspie just played as right wing back, and I don't know if he's going to have enough in the tank to play 2 games in a row in such a demanding position. So perhaps we see Ruben play as right wing back. If Georgie is not ready and Thomas Tuchel says, okay, I'm going to give him a rest after this game, then perhaps we see Hakim Ziyech, somebody at right wing back. We've seen him play there before, and Chelsea kind of switched to a back 4, and then Ziyech can go forward. So I wouldn't be surprised, but I think that is kind of like the main decision that Thomas Tuchel has to make in this match. If I had to guess, I think it's going to be maybe Ziyech, Ruben, Kanté. I'm not 100% sure. We saw that in the second half against Crystal Palace. Jorginho became like a holding base midfielder, and then he had Ruben or Mason Mount on either side of him, so perhaps we could see something similar in this match. I think it really depends on the fitness and like how these players are doing fatigue-wise as well. And then the front 3 is interesting. I know that Kai has started so many matches, but he's young, and I would start him for this one. Why? I think that Lukaku, if you're going to start him, and I do think that Chelsea look worse when Lukaku does play, but if you do start him, I think he would do better against a physical back line like West Ham than he would against an Arsenal. I know he bullied Arsenal in the reverse fixture of this, but he was also in a very different state. He had just come to Chelsea, all of the fans were behind him, Lukaku really felt the love, he was high in confidence, and we were really just not seeing that Lukaku now. So for me personally, Kai Havertz starts this match. If you want to give Lukaku a start, give it to him versus West Ham. I think Mason Mount starts this match. And then the last position is interesting because I think that Timo has been really strong. Pulisic has kind of been up and down, and Ziyech has kind of been up and down. They all have been kind of inconsistent and then consistent for periods of time in the season. For me personally, I wouldn't change that front 3 for this game. I just feel like it's such a massive game. I think that Arsenal are going to leave a bit of space. They've been conceding quite a few goals, so I think that Timo could be the right player to play. And then if it's not working out, you can bring on a Ziyech if he doesn't start at like right wing back or whatever, or bring on a Christian Pulisic. But for me personally, I would start Timo and then look to rotate this squad for the West Ham game. But I feel like the characteristics of Arsenal and that front line, I feel like would go really well together. So for me, that's the starting 11 that I would go with, and kind of my thoughts around the starting 11. Let me know what you guys think, who you think is going to be starting, because I do think it's going to be an interesting one. And as for score prediction, Arsenal really have not been scoring so many goals, so Chelsea should be able to keep a clean sheet. I'm going to go for 2-0. I hope that we keep a clean sheet, because recently when I have predicted clean sheets, we haven't. But I'm feeling pretty good about this match. Like, I say that, and then Arsenal literally always like batter us. Like, every time they're in poor form, they just beat us and then go on to get like a really good like unbeaten or winning streak, which is really unfortunate. but I do think that Chelsea can get the job done. I'm a little bit worried because there have been so many games, 2 massive games last week. We have a lot of fixtures coming up. It's super congested, so I'm hoping that tiredness and fatigue doesn't set in just yet, especially because there's a bit of a gap between us and whoever is going to come into 4th place. Like, I think we're pretty solid in 3rd place. Thomas Tuchel said nothing is solid, nothing is secure. We have to fight for every single match. So hopefully he imparts that on the players, but I just know that at some point fatigue might kick in. I really hope that it doesn't and that Chelsea are able to get this win against Arsenal. If you like this video, make sure to drop it a like, subscribe to my channel, let me know what you thought, and yeah, until next time, I'm out.